In this case, each plaintiff alleges negligence on the part of the defendant and freedom from contributory negligence on his or her part. The burden is upon them to prove that. What do we mean by negligence? Negligence usually means a failure to perform a duty. It means the careless performance of an affirmative act. It is the failure to use the care that a reasonably prudent person would use under all the circumstances of a given occasion. The driver of every automobile using a public highway is charged by law with the duty to operate that automobile with the care that a reasonably prudent person would use under all of the circumstances each time that car is driven. What do the circumstances occasion? What are the circumstances on the road? What are the traffic conditions? What are the weather conditions? It is by asking yourselves these types of questions that you measure the duty of an operator of an automobile operating along a highway. They are charged with the duty of using the care that a reasonably prudent person would use under all of those circumstances in operating that automobile. In order to help out in that field, the legislature has adopted certain rules and regulations, some of which apply to this particular case. At the time of this accident, there was, in effect, Section 1129 of the Vehicle and Traffic Law. That read in subdivision A as follows: the driver of a motor vehicle shall not follow another vehicle more closely than is reasonable and prudent, having due regard for the speed of such vehicles and the traffic upon and the condition of the highway. You will notice they use right in that section the words reasonable and prudent. That is the test. I do not think there are any other sections that should be brought to your attention. It is your recollection of the testimony that counts, not what I might say about the facts, not what either attorney has said about the facts, but it is your recollection of the evidence that counts when you get in the jury room. One claim here is a sudden stop. The other says there was no sudden stop, that they stopped in the proper manner, and that there was no negligence on the part of any of these plaintiffs. That is the issue you have to decide here. I have used the words proximate cause. By proximate cause is meant a cause which is a natural and continuous sequence, unbroken by any new cause, produces that event, and without which that event would not have happened. That is a stiff definition. I would suggest it as much as it is much easier for you to determine whether such negligence was the proximate cause of the accident or contributed as such by asking yourselves the question, without such negligence, would the accident have happened? If you find that the answer to this question is yes, and that the accident would have happened even without such negligence, then such negligence cannot be considered as the proximate cause of the accident. On the other hand, if you find that the accident would not have happened without such negligence, then such negligence did contribute as the proximate cause of the accident. So, in determining whether or not the defendant exercised the prudence that a reasonably prudent person would have exercised under the circumstances, you have to determine whether or not any negligence that you find was the proximate cause or contributed as such to the cause of the accident. In other words, did it cause the accident? Without such negligence, would the accident have happened? You will notice that we have in this case one person who is a driver, and that is William Randall. In testing Randall's case, and it is the first cause of action, before you pass to the question of negligence of the defendant, you must first decide whether Randall was guilty of any negligence on his part, even in the slightest degree, which contributed to the accident. However, when you get to the plaintiff, Bell and Stanley Peters, you have a different rule which applies in connection with negligence. Any negligence on the part of William Randall cannot be attributed to either Emma Bell as a passenger or to Stanley Peters.